Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to FabScraps project number 24. Today we're going to make a gorgeous card using the Antique Elegance Collection. And for any of you that are interested in purchasing either the Antique Elegance Collection or the Spilt Milk Collection from FabScraps, please click the link that's on the blog to take you to the page to order it, and you'll be able to check availability because you're pushing it for time now before Christmas. It would be a great gift for yourself or for a crafty friend, and you know what, it includes postage. You get so much in the actual fab box. You get all these stickers, embellishments, 16 12 by 12 papers, extra bonus 8 by 8 cardstock. It is well worth it to say that it includes shipping wherever you live in the world. That's the thing. It is not just the US or not just South Africa or the UK. It is wherever you live. So please check out availability with the link. Now today's card using the Antique Elegance is quite eclectic, and we use a lot of the different elements. We make a few paper flowers, which I will put the link on where we've made the paper roses before so that you can see how those are made. I love the colours in this card. I just think it works. All the papers are from the Antique Elegance Collection. I've used a little bit of gold cardstock, but you know what, it just works. I'm looking at it, it just all works. I've also used a Sizzix 3D impression lit die, I think that's how you say it, and it's just for the leaves of the flowers. I shall put the details on my blog. Please check the blog for all the extra photos and the information of the items, and I include the extra items as well that I've used. Now at the end of the video, my head's going to pop up here, and that's for anybody that's not subscribed yet. If you want to hit the head, hit my head, and subscribe, and then that way you'll be notified of when new videos are available. And it would be great to have you with us. So without further ado, please sit back, relax, and let's have a look at today's gorgeous project. For today's tutorial, we're using the FabScraps Antique Elegance Collection to make a gorgeous card. We're going to start with our base card, and this is an 8 by 8 square ivory card. I've already stamped on the back. We're using one of my handmade by stamps. I've added my name and the project number. I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure I've got a nice sharp score along the edge of the card, because I want it to stand proud on the mantelpiece. And as always, we're going to start with the inside first. Now the inside, I think, would be great for an outside, to be honest, because it is going to be so pretty. You would just be able to use it as it is. So the first thing that I've done is I've cut a layer of ivory cardstock, 1/4 of an inch smaller than the actual card size. I've stamped around the edge using background stamps. This could be any stamp you have for a background. It can be big or small because you're only going to use the edge and you're only actually stamping on the edge. Now I've stamped the word time flies just to the middle to my left, and I've used permanent black ink for that. For the images around the edge, I've just used 2 ink pads I have in my stash. They were just Eyes Ink ink pads, and they were just perfect colouring really. And I think one was the metallic blue, I can't remember its snazzy name, and the other could have been creme de menthe. However, the creme de menthe is quite bright normally, and mine's got a touch of blue on it, so it's kind of toned it down. So it just goes to show you can use whatever you have in your stash. And I'm only being honest by telling you this because my inks are used so much and they end up with lots of other colours on them from different techniques, etc. So I wouldn't get too caught up on what colours I use. Just use what you have. I've got flat tape on the back, and I can simply peel that away and then add this to the centre of our card. There we go. Press that down. Next, I have a circle of gorgeousness. This again is from the Antique Elegance Collection, and from a circle that we've die cut to use on the front, this is the inside of it. So I'm not wasting anything. I've got flat tape on the back, and I'm simply peeling the back of the tape away, and I'm going to add the circle roughly to the centre of our card. I've then got a circle of ivory cream cardstock. Now I've used a stamp here from my stash, and it says "To cheer you today." This is a stamp that I'm using on the front of the card. It's actually a one-line stamp, and I've just simply curled it as I've put it onto the block to stamp it, and I've just curled it to go with the flow of the circle. So I've put it on the block, curved it, and I've put the block over the top of the circle so that I can follow the line, so that when I go to stamp it, I know it's going to be in line. I've used a permanent black ink for that. You could use any sentiment you have, but if you're going to follow the line of the circle, the curvature, then I think just a one-line sentiment. So I'm going to pop that with the sentiment to the bottom of the circle and on the previous circle. So that's going to be our writing panel, so to speak. Then I've taken two embellishments from the actual Antique Elegance Collection. I've got the clock with the florals, and then I've got the pocket watch as well. I was trying to say stopwatch. And these two are on flat tape, and I want to position them together. So one is going to go underneath the other one, because I think this card's more about positioning than anything else. It's got some good techniques in this, I think, just for making sure that things are positioned in strategic places, so to speak. So we peel the back of our tape away, and we can take our two embellishments. Now I know that I want the stopwatch, I'm doing it again, the pocket watch roughly about there, and I want it to flow from the embellishment clock at the top. So if I pop them down like that, I think that's about right, because we can see the time flies stamp, and we can see the "To cheer you today" sentiment. I can press that down, and that is our insert. So pretty, the embellishments work so well, and FabScraps are great at including everything that's going to work well together. And you can see where I've cut out the embellishment and I've cut round the edge, and you don't even need to cut it perfectly because it just looks so good. Now I think for an insert that would work for the outside as well, and it's just so pretty. Lots of room for you to write your message. And now we can turn our attention to the front of the card. I'm going to use my bone folder again just to make sure that's still a nice sharp crease along the edge. And our first layer for the front of the card again is from the Antique Elegance Collection, and I think this colour is beautiful. It's like a bronze, and it goes with everything in the collection. And you just don't have to think about what's going to work because you know all the papers match. And that's the same for every collection. So I'm going to add this to the front of our card. I've cut it to less than 1/4 of an inch around the edge, just enough to give us a frame of the card, if you can see that around the edge. Now I'm going to add the corners first. I've die cut some of the floral paper, and I've used a Spellbinders die to create some corners just for added interest. And as I said, the paper is, again, it's all Antique Elegance, but these were a Spellbinders die set, and you got 4 corners, 2 of these, because you get the left and the right ones, and then you get an ornate scroll as well, which we've used for well, we're going to use a little bit later in this tutorial. So those are my 4 corners. You could use anything you have to make the corners. It's just something a little bit extra to save the corners looking bald, basically, because we're going to concentrate a lot on the centre, and I just thought it needed that little bit extra. Now, talking of the centre, the first thing I've done, and I know you're going to look at this and you're going to go, whoa, that's not your usual standard. And that's true. And I wanted to show you, A, I've made a blooper, and B, this doesn't have to be a perfect circle. So I've used the stamp, and it's To Cheer You Today. It's the same stamp that we've used in the centre. I've followed the circle around that I've die cut. So I did die cut 2 circles, so it was like a circular frame. However, I want it to fit a second circle that we're going to put on top. So I've had to trim it. Now, I've not trimmed it very well, as you can see. That doesn't matter. We're not going to see it. We're going to see this bit. Now, where I followed the line around and I've cross-stamped there, I've crossed over with my stamping to make sure this is all right. That's fine, because the main areas that we're going to see are parts of it at the bottom and the sides. We're not going to see this bit, so we don't have to worry. As long as this is readable, then don't worry about the cross stamping. I've cut a second circle that's going to sit over the top of this circle, and the bottom circle is on 3D foam, and I'm going to position it just roughly about there. Now, I haven't attached the top circle yet, but I am going to attach it, but I'm going to use wet glue for the simple reason that I want to be able to have a little bit of movement to be able to get this in position, because if I simply do that, chances are it's not going to be quite right. So I just want a bit of wiggle room, basically, to be able to do that, and then think, oh, you know what, I think about there is perfect. So I can press that down, and that's in position. Because if I used flat tape for that, it would, once it's down, and there's no wiggle room. So I'm quite happy with that. So that's my circle, and I've put it just towards the bottom of the card, not central, so there's maybe an extra centimetre at the top. Now we're going to work from the top down, really. And I'm going to start, and I'm going to add an embellishment that was in the embellishment collection with the Antique Elegance. This is one of the tags. I've got 3D foam on one side on double height, and then normal height at the other side. So I'm adding that just to one side of the circle, and at the other side I've got a second tag that's a little bit different, with the clock on like we used for the inside. Again, these are all included in the collection, so they're just so pretty. Next, again, included in the collection, I've got a padlock and a key. I've got 3D foam on the back of both of them, and I'm just going to add the key over the top of the padlock and then add the padlock roughly in the middle of the two tags, adding those like that so we get some height on the card there. Not worried about this being loose because we've got something for the top, which we're going to add now. I have 2 leaves, large leaves that I've die cut out of one of the papers from the collection. These are on 3D foam, and I'm simply going to add these just to either side of the tags. I then have 4 small gold leaves on 3D foam, and I'm going to add these just at the edge of the leaves that we've just added, and then again 2 more smaller gold leaves on 3D foam, and I'm going to pop those in the centre like that. There we go. Next, I've got 3 handmade flowers that I've made. Now, you've seen me make the punched roses before. I've used the collection, the Antique Elegance Collection, to make these 3. I've used the bronze paper and then the floral turquoise paper. I can't remember the names of them, I'm sorry, but they're all in the collection. So I'm going to add the turquoise rose first. Now I'm actually going to add these using silicone glue because we're filming and I want them to stick and not fall off when I hold it up. So I'm adding some silicone glue on the bottom of the flower, and I'm hoping that will hold at the side of those gold leaves like that. And then the 2 bronze roses are going to sit at either side of the turquoise one like so. So I just add the silicone underneath, and there we go. There's our 3 roses. Now they will need time to dry, but hopefully they will be dry enough so we can hold the project up at the end. I will take lots of photos anyway, so don't worry about it. So now as we're coming down the actual card, next I have 2 more large leaves, and these are going to sit roughly about there. Now this is a 3D impression lit embossing folder from Sizzix, and I just thought it worked so well that it just goes, and you get the large and the small leaf in the actual folder. So I've added 2 more small and 2 more gold at the bottom. Now to finish our card off, I've taken a sentiment that is from the actual Antique Elegance Collection, and then I've die cut 2 gold flourishes from the corner dies that I've used, which were the Spellbinders corners, and I'm just adding the little gold flourishes to the back of the sentiment, and then we can attach it all to our card like so. So it's just giving a touch of extra to the back of it, and it's going to sit roughly about there on our card, and that is our card finished. Now it's quite eclectic. It's a little bit different to how we normally work and the things we normally create, but it shows that you can use a mixture of embellishments, and the inside works just as well as the outside. For anybody needing just a little pick me up, a cheer me up, or a thinking about your card, this would work so well. And it's just so pretty. I'm going to stand it up. Hope my roses stay in place. Stands up proud. You would need a little bit of extra padding if you're giving this. I would say this was a card that you would make if you are handing it to somebody rather than posting it. And I just love the colourways, the whole collection. It's so beautiful and it's something very different and it just works. Please check the blog because I'm going to take lots and lots of photos to be able to show you the inside and the outside and close-ups of different angles of the card. Please share with your crafty friends and give me the thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. And I just hope I help and I inspire you to just make something, whatever it is. So I would just like to say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.